Breaking news! 2 weeks ago, 150 people went to Area 51 and tried to raid it, and, well, nothing happened. It was a complete disaster, and yeah, we got nothing out of that. But could have it been better if we had some dank dinosaurs by our side? Welcome to Zachasaurus, folks. My name is Zach, and I'm a science educator. And today we will see whether or not the Abelisauridae dinosaurs would have made potent Naruto runners, and could have they helped us achieve our ultimate goal, which was finding the aliens, the cat girls, and of course the secret recipe for the Krabby Patty. First off, who were the Abelisauridae? Well, they were a group of medium-sized theropods, therefore related to Tyrannosaurus rex and Allosaurus, that lived from the middle of the Jurassic all the way to the end of the Cretaceous. That is 100 million years, and therefore they were very, very successful in the southern hemisphere. And they were characterized by having quite short skulls, quite deep, unusual tails that we will see a little later why, and most comically, they had ridiculously tiny arms. And if you look at Tyrannosaurus rex, it is the butt of the joke for many comedic stuff for having very small arms. But if you look at Carnotaurus, for example, which is one of the most famous Abelisauridae, his arms are so tiny, they look useless, and they always seem to be on the side of the body, and therefore he was always performing a Naruto run. And it begs the question, was he able to dodge bullets? And what makes a good Naruto runner in the first place? So, for those who don't know, the Naruto runners were supposed to be a tactical unit in the raid of Area 51, and they were supposed to go right next to the Kyles and the Karens, and they were supposed, with their enhanced speed and agility, be able to dodge the bullets and get them aliens. So now the question is, were the Abelisauridae worthy of being Naruto runner, and would have they been able to help us 2 weeks ago at the failed raid? While in earlier Abelisauridae that might not be necessarily the case, in the ones that appear later in the Cretaceous, they really do seem to be more geared toward higher speeds, and the reason for that is the way their tail is structured. You see, dinosaurs not only use their tails for balance and weapons, but they also use them as anchor points to attach muscle that will power the femurs and enable them to move. And therefore, if you have bigger attachment points to these tails, well, you can have more muscle there and therefore a faster, more powerful locomotion. And this is perfectly exemplified with Carnotaurus, which amongst all the Abelisauridae has the tail with the most attachment points, therefore the biggest muscle to power the femurs, which by the way were pretty long, on pretty long legs too, and making honestly Carnotaurus one of the fastest bigger theropods out there. For sure. And therefore, if I were to bring this animal at Area 51 with the other advanced Abelisauridae, I think they would be pretty good at dodging bullets for their speed for sure. But for a 1.5 tons animal up to 8 meters long, honestly, speed is one thing, but how is maneuverability to be able to dodge them bullets? At a first glance, it doesn't seem like the Abelisauridae were the most agile theropods of the bunch because they don't seem to be very effective at countering their own rotational inertia. Let me explain. You see, this physical principle is basically the reason why a short object will have a lot easier time spinning around its axis than a longer object will. And I will demonstrate this by using 2 heavy books and an office chair. So you see, as I start spinning with my arms stretched out, holding each book, if I tuck my arms in, I augment my rotational speed quite a bit without putting any more energy in the system. The reason why? I simply lowered my rotational inertia. And in the case of large theropods, being very long animal, they had to find a way to counteract this to be able to catch prey. And one way that is hypothesized they did is by using their heads and their tails and their whole bodies to turn into the corner, reducing their rotational inertia momentarily, and therefore make them a little more agile. And that's where the Abelisauridae completely suck. And the reason for this is that their tails, being very well adapted to hold big locomotory muscles, especially in Carnotaurus, for example, they did sacrifice some space for the muscles that would actually move the tail around. And not only this, but these big vertebrae with these big attachment points were very stiffly interlocked together. And therefore, they were stuck with a big, heavy, and stiff tail that wasn't able to turn very well, and therefore probably weren't the most agile of dinosaurs. Although that's not the only way you can go around a corner quickly, if you look at the modern ostrich, they do use their wings as rudders to corner more efficiently. Could the Abelisauridae use their weird little arms for the same reason? Probably no. You see, well, first, the ostrich arms are covered in very big feathers, which didn't seem to appear anywhere near the Abelisauridae. It appeared later in theropod evolution. And not only that, their arms are so small, they probably didn't even impact aerodynamically the animal. So yeah, they probably couldn't use their arms to turn more efficiently. And therefore, if you go back to the original question, would they be good Naruto runners? My answer is unfortunately no. And they probably weren't much of a help in that area because although they were quick, although they had the stance and the style, such a big animals also need maneuverability to be able to dodge them bullets and go to Area 51 safely. Although they might have been useful in another reason. Because you see, their arms, although very tiny, still had the muscle attachments and still have enough flexibility in the shoulders and the hands to be maybe able to be used for signalization. Basically, talking to other animals of the same species or other animals entirely for either, intimidation or reproduction or whatever reasons animals communicate with each other by, flailing their arms or slapping themselves. I don't know, you can be creative with that. But anyway, they could have been useful for their raid 2 weeks ago still, because imagine this, a Naruto running animal super quick going through the enemy line and then being able to signal to all the other anti-vax kid, the rocks throwers and the Kyles when to attack. And therefore I do believe that if 2 weeks ago we had Carnotaurus and the other Abelisauridae on our side, well, the 150 people raid might have got just a little better, and we might have actually had the chance to slap them alien cheeks. And now, with this new very important insight in mind, thank you very much, folks, for joining me once again at Zacharie this week. It's been an absolute blast making this video and answering this really dumb question. But man, how much did I learn about Abelisauridae? I mean, it's so interesting. And I hope you feel that way too right now. Now, if you want to see more content like this, of course, folks, subscribe, like, share it, make the world know about this channel. And I mean, I'm going to post in 2 weeks anyway. So once again, it's a rendezvous. And on that, folks, I wish you a fantastic day. Thank you once again. Ciao.